Okay, so welcome everybody to the Bakersfield Pop Tennis Channel. We got a huge treat today. We've got one of the top Central Valley tennis players from the early 2000s, the new millennium. Jake from Clovis has joined us. And Jake, how do we know each other?
Back when I was in high school at Clovis East, I believe Thatcher, you were the JV tennis coach my sophomore year of high school at Clovis East.
That's right. That is right. And we had some good times back then. We won that division. We beat Clovis West. We beat Buchanan. We beat
Central and Madera also.
That's right. Central Madera and Clovis High too.
And Clovis High, of course. Yeah,
that's right. That was before Clovis North was around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's take a look. Are you still playing tennis?
Here and there. I haven't played much this year. I was playing a lot right up until the whole coronavirus thing happened. And then I had a baby in April, so haven't had a whole lot of time, but definitely looking to get back into playing, hopefully sometime soon.
Well, pop tennis is a good way to get out there and play some quick games. You don't need to keep your game up as much. There's no overhand serve; it's all underhand. So you don't need to maintain your I don't know what your form for your overhead serve as much, and it's a little bit easier to pick up and go.
Okay.
So let's take a look, check out this game. This is me and Viet. Viet is the godfather of Bakersfield pop tennis. 1 year ago, he went down to Venice and brought back some pop tennis paddles. We all thought he was crazy for how much money he spent, but after a while, we got some ourselves and started playing, and it really picked up. So we play over here at the Bakersfield Bracket Club in Bakersfield. Okay. You know this area, right?
Yep.
We used to have tournaments down here. Fresno schools used to come down and play tournaments here. Very nice racket club. So they've got 4 pickleball courts in the back, and they've modified 2 of the pickleball courts for pop tennis so far. We're hoping we can get all 4, but we'll see. The pickleball community might not be happy about that. But as you can see, the pickleball court is just that blue and green up there.
Okay.
And that the green up near the net is called the kitchen in pickleball. And you can't volley in there for pickleball, but it doesn't play in pop tennis. Pop tennis is just like tennis, same scoring, just the underhand serve. And then that yellow line back at the baseline, that is a 3-foot extension for the pop tennis court.
Okay.
And when you serve, the only thing is you have to get your serve within the blue and white line. So that's kind of like the service box. It's a huge service box, and then after that, the yellow line comes into play for everything else.
Okay, got it.
So we play with a green dot tennis ball, so it's deep, unpressurized, a little bit less pressure, and they're made for training kids tennis. And you play with that, and pretty fast-paced game, lots of fun. And we were talking earlier, you were saying this reminded you of a game we used to play back at Clovis East.
Yeah, it looks like the short court games that we would play. Super fun. You played just like that, 2-on-2. But really, there weren't any teams with that game, because it was basically every man for himself. You would just try not to get the points scored on you on your side of the court. Once you would get 3 points scored on you, if you were to get to 3 first, the other 3 guys got to take a serve at you from the other side of the court.
And if you had no points, you got to serve from the service line, I remember.
Yeah, from the service line to the service line.
Pretty deadly game.
Yeah. I think it's banned now. I don't think they're allowed to play
that
anymore,
Right. I'm sure some parents complain somewhere along the line. But we had a lot of fun with that game. And that's how I got into pickleball, actually. I was sitting around with a colleague of mine in Monterey, and we were talking about tennis and stuff, and I had asked him. I said, have you ever played pickleball? Because I had heard about it. And I kind of remembered playing paddle tennis in high school, and I was thinking that's what pickleball was.
Okay.
So we looked up pickleball, and we got some equipment, and we just started playing. And because it reminded me of that short court game that was so much fun that we played, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, we did just the service boxes, right? It was a game to develop hand-eye coordination and touch.
Exactly.
And we used tennis rackets and regular balls, but you couldn't hit like a winner. It had to be just a touch shot. You couldn't hit a hard shot at anybody. And it was just about keeping control, movement. And then, like you said, if that ball bounced on your side of the court, I could pretend like I'm helping you out, and then you could back off, and then I'd let it bounce again, and you'd get the point. Right? So you could mess with people. Yeah, there was no teams, but a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I remember we used to go after Alec. Alec used to talk a lot of trash, so we would go after him. A good kid.
We would try to every time. Yeah.
And he was a good tennis player. Really good tennis player. Yeah. So, but a lot of fun we had back then.
Awesome.
So as you can see, it's a pretty fast-paced game.
Yeah, no, it looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, like I said, looks a lot like short court.
Right. Except we do hit it hard.
Okay.
When we first started, actually, all we did was kind of like go 100% right at the guy at the net, try and crack him. But as we improved, we realized, you're going to hit a lot out that way, especially because pickleball courts have a 34-inch center on the net and a 36-inch on the post, where a pop tennis court is 31 inches all the way across. So they hit a lot more power and down at Venice Beach. But we can't do that because of the height of the net. So
it's higher.
Yeah.
Make a good decision.
Yeah. So
awesome.
And you change sides every 3 games, not every odd game. So we're changing sides now.
So remind me what exactly the kitchen is.
So that green box up by the net, right?
Yeah.
That's only for pickleball, though. See, we're on a pickleball hybrid court. So in pickleball, you can't volley inside that line.
Gotcha.
You have to let the ball bounce. Yeah. But in pop tennis, there's no rule for that. So you can go in there and volley. You can start wherever you want on the court.
Okay.
Now in singles, though, on pop tennis, when you're serving, you can't serve and volley. You have to let the ball bounce once.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know why there's that rule, but and that's similar to pickleball. In pickleball, you have to let the ball bounce after a serve. But in doubles, you can serve and volley, come right in.
Okay. Cool.
And really, you've got to attack the net.
Yeah.
So as you can see, just big shots. And I think it's go ahead.
You said the scoring is just like regular tennis?
It's just tennis scoring, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll take a look at the next game. But it's deuce right now.
Okay.
Make a good decision.
Just back.
That's awesome. It looks like a lot of fun. So where do you get? I mean, I'm sure you can find it online, but where would you get, like pop tennis or pickleball equipment at?
Big shot down the center. Look at Viet just staring them down too. I like that. You can find them on Amazon. Just type in pop tennis paddle. They range from like $50. The ones we're using, all of us have these drop shot paddles, and they're made by a company in Spain, I think. and it's hard to find. You got to type in Drop Shot Sports.
Okay.
It's what they've got really good touch and all, but they're a little bit more pricey.
Okay.
But you can find all different levels, and you know what? They're all pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the green dot tennis balls you can find at any sports store or on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you can use a regular tennis ball and pop it. Just, put a syringe in it, let the air out.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. But I think this is a great game for developing young players.
Yeah. It looks like it'd be really fun too, maybe even for people that don't necessarily play tennis, but someone who might be interested.
Sure.
In playing.
Yeah.
It seems really fun. Something you can play with people that aren't necessarily, not necessarily tennis players.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's like we said, it's the same, form pretty much. You can work on all that form, volleys, forehand, backhand. The only thing is you're not getting that overhead serve, but
right.
But yeah, for the most part, it's a great developmental game for tennis, and much easier to pick up.
Yeah.
So.
No, it looks like a lot of fun because I'm sure you remember from when you were one of my coaches, but I was always doing serve and volley, and I love doubles. So this looks like looks really fun.
And it is mainly a doubles game.
Yeah.
I like the singles; it's fun, but you see a lot more people playing doubles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you go down to Venice, man, they talk a lot of trash to each other.
Really?
Oh yeah. There's some former college players that play this.
Okay.
Even like former professional players you'll see down there playing sometimes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So. So you enjoy doubles tennis more than?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Why is that?
Man, so for me, I liked singles, but I feel like I excelled at doubles, and I was much better. My ground strokes were never, in my opinion, very great, and I always tried to end points really quickly. So I pretty much was like when I got to junior and senior year of high school, I pretty much only served and volleyed, and always tried to get to the net and end points as fast as I could.
Yeah.
And I love playing doubles. I love being at the net. So that was, that's just how I played.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When you played singles, did you serve and volley a lot too?
Yep.
Did you?
Always. Like I said, I wasn't one to keep a rally going for a super long time. So I tried to get to the net as often as I could.
Yeah.
So yeah, this looks like a lot of fun, for those
Right.
reasons.
You're learning to come in, volley, which a lot of young players don't do, right? A lot of young players, yeah.
I feel like it's rare that you see,
Yeah.
kids doing serve and volleying at all.
Right. Because the pro game now, you don't see it so much.
No,
so. But like you said, if you can perfect that game, I think it's a huge advantage.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
To put points away quickly. Yeah.
It was just a lot more fun for me playing that way too. It's fast paced. You try to get to the net as quick as possible.
Yeah.
It was just fun. Trying to take the angles, and I loved volleying and stuff like that. I love being at the net. So
Yeah. How about this favorite after tennis food? After a big tennis match.
That's a good question. I'm trying to remember. I mean, probably pizza.
Yeah. Pizza's good.
I feel like I ate a lot of pizza back in those days. I still eat a decent amount, but I would say pizza. We would go More Than Pizza over in Clovis. Some of the best pizza around here, so we would get that all the time.
What was it?
Called More Than Pizza. There's one in Clovis, right at Clovis High, and there's one in Fresno.
Okay.
Awesome.
What kind of pizza? What topping?
For me personally, I just like cheese pizza.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, which is funny that like I don't know, most people go pepperoni, but
Yeah.
I just like big cheese.
I like cheese. I like pepperoni. Yeah, simple. Yep.
Yeah.
Good
But
stuff.
if you ever go to More Than Pizza, they have cheese sticks that you can get.
Okay.
I don't know. They're just like these. They're like pizza sticks, and you dip them in the ranch or marinara.
Oh man.
They're amazing.
All right. I'll have to check that out next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, pizza's always good. I like or a burger.
Yep.
Hamburger. When
Absolutely.
you're starving, especially after a hot summer day in the Central Valley.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Man, it's rough out here right now.
Oh, brutally
Like
hot.
111 a week. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
like that in Bakersfield.
Same, yeah. It was when we were out there. It was like 100 degrees, I think,
Yeah.
in the evening. 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So
It's rough.
it doesn't cool down too much.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Which was funny when I worked in Monterey and I coached Pacific Grove High. We went and played Morgan Hill one day, which is just south of San Jose, and the weather was like 82 or something.
Uh-huh.
And everybody was complaining about how hot it was, and they had to put ice water on all the courts for the kids because they're not used to that heat.
They're not used to
whereas,
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas we grew up in that 100-degree weather playing.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
There's a lot of good tennis players from the Valley, actually.
Yeah,
You'll
definitely.
find,
There've been some good ones. Yeah, I mean Hank went and played at a college in New York.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was called Marist.
Okay.
And we've had some other ones. I know that there was a kid from Clovis West that went and played at, I think it was Berkeley.
Okay.
Yeah, there's and we've had some local kids go to Fresno State and play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It seems like most of the colleges, the teams are all foreign players. So it's it's good to see when you get some homegrown talent playing at the college level.
Yeah. When I was a freshman and sophomore at Fresno High, there was a player at Bullard High named Robert Kendrick. He went on to the ATP Tour. He was a pro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he even made it to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon one year.
No way. That's
and,
awesome.
He played a close match. I think he went 5 sets with Nadal and lost in the quarters.
I think I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
He was a good player. Awesome. He was really good.
Yeah.
And my freshman year, we had a player, Chris Smith. He was a good player. Him and Robert Kendrick, when they would play, I mean, people would come and watch because they were both two of the top junior players in town. And Chris Smith, actually, I remember him beating Robert one match. And I remember Robert just chucking his racket into the baseball field outside the courts. But Chris went on to play Division I. And then Robert went on to play Division I as well. I forget where, but really good tennis back then.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then Clovis always had good players. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we had some battles back in the day. Some fun stuff.
I remember back when when I was coaching you guys, Bullard still had a really dominant team.
They were great. Yeah, and that's the difference between. I mean, it's not. Well, part of the difference was I remember when I was in high school. Still, they had a German exchange student who was really good.
Right.
And in Fresno, the exchange students are allowed to play on varsity, but in Clovis they're not.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of an unfair rule. I mean, I guess obviously the rule's in place for a reason, but it's kind. That was a little frustrating just because they had that kid who was super good and he would beat everybody.
Right. Now, was it always like that for Clovis?
No, I think that the reason that happened was because I believe there was an exchange student at Clovis West back in the day who was like,
I remember that. I
basketball.
remember that, yes. Yeah, you're right. He was in his 20s and he was playing basketball for Clovis West, right?
Just dominating, yeah.
Right.
that's why that rule's in place.
Got it. Yeah, that could be a problem, huh?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bullard.
They've always had a good program.
Yeah, always. And I talked about it before with my friend Joe on here, because when we were back in high school, Fresno and Hoover and Edison, we kind of all battled for that number 2 spot. We all knew Bullard was going to be number 1. It's just you can't compete with them. And like you said, they would get good foreign exchange students, and also, most of the racket clubs and country clubs were in their school district, and so you've got when you've got kids that grow up playing tennis, and then competing with teams where you've got maybe 1 or 2 students who grew up playing tennis, where everybody else is learning on the team. It's not realistic that you're going to compete, but but it was fun. That high school tennis in Fresno and Clovis was always fun. That was always exciting time of the year for me personally. I'm guessing you too.
Yeah, no, it was great. And I actually didn't start playing tennis until my freshman year of high school. So I like you said, when you have kids that grow up playing tennis, that's like schools like Bullard, where their parents might be members of like a Sierra Racket Club or something like that.
Right.
You're gonna see obviously a big difference in the program. So I would assume that if it hasn't happened already, I think Clovis North already is dominating in tennis now. So I'm sure that's gonna keep going that direction.
Sure. Well, they're right by Copper River Country Club, and So, and I remember that year I was working with Phil. Phil put together a great program there because he was a middle school teacher, PE teacher, and I believe he started developing kids in tennis back then, maybe. I don't know exactly, but he had developed these players, and Phil was a great coach. He is. And I remember there were a lot of parents who were not happy that Clovis East, this new school, all of a sudden was beating Buchanan and Clovis West. Yeah, I remember that in Clovis High.
They hate it. Honestly seemed like when we played Buchanan and Clovis West that they genuinely hated us.
Oh yeah, I remember
it
that.
Really did feel
I
that
remember
way.
Like a mental case at Buchanan, a total mental case kid. I don't know who he was or what.
I remember.
He was an interesting kid. And the parents there, like you would see the parents getting into it, and like, it was bizarre to me.
The parents were very vocal over there.
Yeah. So it was good that we beat them.
Yeah.
It was fun times, man.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Anything else? Yeah. Go ahead. You remember?
I was just gonna say I miss those days. Those are some good memories.
Yeah, I think high school tennis is a great team sport. I think, even though it's not a team game, it's like you're working together, you're practicing together, even though you're competing for the spots. So you're developing that competition, but it's also a lot of fun rooting for each other, and like
even though it is an individual sport, I mean, you're still the scoring is still it's team scoring. So it is definitely a team sport.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a great way for kids to learn the game. And in my experience coaching different places, we would also get a lot of kids that maybe couldn't compete in basketball. Maybe they were smaller, or football, kind of the popular sports, or baseball, and they felt more comfortable in tennis, and it's great because it's a sport you can play your whole life. And,
absolutely. I mean, I would say that's probably part of the reason I played tennis, because I tried out for the baseball team in 9th grade and I didn't make it. And then, I didn't play any other sports, and then I was like, one of the other guys on the tennis team invited me to play, and I was like, why would I play tennis? I've never played tennis. And then I ended up playing all 4 years, and then I played at Fresno City. So it's like, it's
a great sport. It's fun. You can play your whole life. You only need 2 people to get out there. Yeah. So, like me, when I was in high school, I weighed maybe 125 pounds or something. So there was no way I could play football or basketball with those guys. But I loved playing tennis, and And it kept you motivated going to school. Keeps a lot of kids motivated. So
definitely something to look forward to.
Yep. So hopefully we'll be getting pop tennis growing in Fresno. We can have a battle sometime.
I'm definitely interested in it. I'll be sharing it with the people I play tennis with here, and I'd definitely like to at least explore it and try playing it. It looks like a lot of fun to me. So
yeah, and there's stuff online to show you how to even build the courts on a regular tennis court. Like I said, if there's pickleball courts, it's really easy. We used to chalk the extra 3 feet onto the courts. And just play like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is there's a way to modify a regular tennis court to play?
Yeah, we've done that, and you just bring the net down a little bit and then chalk the lines. Yeah, so
awesome.
Get out there, man. Next time you're in town, we'll play some.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right, man. Jake, always good to see you.
Awesome. Good to see you too, Thatcher.
All right, buddy. Have a great day.
All right. You too.
Thanks.
Bye.